We need to bring back stay-at-home wives. Women are just not meant to work these soul-sucking 9 to 5 corporate desk jobs, working 40 hours a week in a cubicle and getting verbally harassed by their asshole boss. Think back to our parents' generation. How many families had a working dad, a stay-at-home mom, and kids that were raised by the mother? A lot. Meanwhile, nowadays, the husband and the wife are both working these 40-hour-a-week jobs, the kids are left to a babysitter or some school program, and there's no family dynamic. You're gonna tell me there's a greater sense of fulfillment for a woman working 40 hours a week at a desk job compared to staying at home, taking care of the house, and raising a family? And this isn't to say that women shouldn't work. They should just work a job that still gives them time to tan by the pool, go to Pilates, go to farmers markets in a sundress, and raise a family. I honestly think that this is why there's so many broken households today. The husband and the wife both go work 40 hours a week. The kids go to some after school program or some daycare and get raised by some nut job. And there's no connection or relationship between the parents and the kids. So instead of devoting all your time to some shitty boss at a 9 to 5 job, I think women should devote most of their time to their kids and their family. And if you still want to work a 9 to 5 job and make money, more power to you, but I don't think women should be demonized by society for not wanting to work, staying home, and raising a family.
So I didn't just get the female perspective. I wanted to see what did the men think about what he said. Here's what they had to say.
We need to bring back stay-at-home wives. Women are just...
Look, I hear you. I understand some people may agree with his points, but I need to state something real quick. In this economy, bitch, please, I can hardly afford rent. You think I'm gonna be able to do that shit alone? Groceries, fucking taxes, fucking the cost of any supplies of anything. Why the fuck is Claritin $55 a fucking bottle? Like, my point is like, we could have this mythical fucking universe where one person out of a household could fucking work, right? And then they'd be able to afford, but that's just not how life is. This shit started getting worse when who went into office? Don't you dare come into my fucking comments thinking, oh, but the last guy was awful. My fucking wallet then begs to differ. Comment, share. Yeah, thank you.
Women are not meant to be working these 40-hour-a-week corporate desk jobs.
Hit me with it.
I saw it again today. A really pretty girl walking down the street with her corporate t-shirt, jeans, a backpack, her thermos, looking depressed as all hell walking into her job. It's the saddest thing
I was almost ready to agree with him here until I realized that it was probably sad because she was a pretty girl, right?
Girl should not be going to some stupid desk job to sit in a cubicle and report to some asshole boss all day. She should be in a sundress, going to a farmer's market, tanning by the pool, doing yoga, doing Pilates, stuff like that.
Yeah. And there you have it. The problem was not that somebody was miserable having to work a 9 to 5 desk job. The problem is that a pretty girl who exists, who is placed on the planet Earth in order for him to look at her, to enjoy looking at her do things for the benefit of the male gaze, which is everything that he just listed. That's why it was sad. Corporate life is robbing him of the pleasure of looking at her.
Of the thousands of years of human history, when did women start going to 9 to 5 jobs? Like 40 years ago? 50 maybe?
So women have been working the 9 to 5, 5 days a week, just as long as men have. They have been alongside us this entire time. Now, one of the reasons that this was invisible for much of history, remains invisible to us now when we study history, is that women's labor simply wasn't counted. Women were working for the family in support of their husbands or their fathers. If they weren't being paid a wage, then that work wasn't getting counted. And I would add here that if your concern is actually with the 9 to 5 office job, none of us were built for that. We have known for decades now that the 9 to 5 is killing many of us. So
And the sad thing is, it's not even like a 9 to 5, 40-hour work week anymore. People are out here working like 60 hours. Like, it is nuts to survive right now.
the real problem should be with capitalism and with a weak social safety net that doesn't allow one parent to stay home. Or at least that would be the problem if you weren't using 9 to 5 as a convenient cover for your obvious misogyny.
Or women would stay home, raise the family, take care of the house, cook, clean.
All of which is labor. It is unpaid domestic labor. What happened to the sundresses and lounging by the pool and going to yoga and Pilates? It's almost like it was never about any of that at all.
Now, women go to some stupid 9-to-5 desk job to do some bullshit compliance job and get verbally harassed by their manager, and then go to happy hour and get hit on by their coworker, Caleb. It's just not how it should be.
Oh, Caleb, when will you learn that only our buddy Christian here is allowed to hit on his coworkers at the bar?
Women are not meant to be working these 40-hour-a-week corporate desk jobs.
Bullshit. That's what y'all wanted. Now we're in a fucking recession. Y'all want to tap out? Nah. You done turned half the dudes that make decisions into a bunch of bitches, and now we all gotta pay for it. You gotta pay for it too.
Women are not meant to be working these 40-hour-a-week corporate desk jobs.
This year, I read a book called Invisible Women that talks about data bias against women. And the author points out how women have always had jobs. They've always been doing work. They just have not gotten paid for it, because being a stay-at-home wife or mom is indeed a job. It's a lot of work. In Moira Weigel's book, A Labor of Love, she talks about how the biggest factor in why dating is the way that it is the economy. Pre-World War II, women essentially had to get married for survival because men were the ones working, paying jobs, and so they were able to provide. Post-World War II, after women had entered the workforce, they didn't want to give that up once the men got home from the war because they liked the freedom and empowerment that came with being able to provide for themselves. Dating became more out of trying to find love than just finding somebody to provide for you. Women have always had jobs. They've always been doing work. They've not always gotten paid. If she wants to be a stay-at-home mom or wife, that's fine. If she wants to enter the workforce, that's a positive that has come out of history that she is able to do so.
Women are not meant to be working these 40-hour-a-week corporate desk jobs. I saw it.
While this guy's video may come across as being a, you don't have to work, I'll take care of you, queen, pick me oriented video, really it is the benevolent misogyny way of saying, get back in the kitchen. Nobody is meant to work a 40-hour corporate computer desk job. There's nothing about the nature of women that makes monotonous computer work depressing. Instead, alienation and the division of labor in capitalism that makes this not fulfilling for both men and women. Something that a lot of people miss is that there are various approaches in feminism. While most feminists should agree that the cultural enforcement of having women just assume a child-rearing role and not being in the workplace is fundamentally oppressive, it is the Marxist feminists who acknowledge that the simple alternative of just becoming a wage laborer is not liberating either. I think it's sad that a lot of the women in this video's comment section are mistaking infantilization for genuine care.
Ooh, they said a lot here in this video, y'all. I like the men's perspective as well. Very interesting on both sides, just to see how the responses are very similar and some different, but it's kind of like a trap, in my opinion, to not have that sort of freedom in order to make your own money. It really is. It's for the people who want that life. But clearly, like the man that made the video, maybe he's talking about a specific sort of woman, or a specific woman. But all women are not nurturing. All women are not going to be good mothers. All women don't want to do Pilates. That's a specific type of woman, and maybe he knows her, and I think he should reach out to her and, marry her. And yeah, I see nothing wrong with that if she's willing to assume that role, but everybody is not. And some of us want to go out and we want to be able to make a name for ourselves and not have to rely on our husbands, because we just know how that can go, y'all. We just already know.